Most people will come to me and they say, I have a hiring problem. I can't find anyone good. I can't find any good people. I've got a hiring problem. I said, great. Answer me this question. How many people did you have at the end of last year? Now, how many W-2s did you issue for that same year? And if the number of W-2s is significantly higher than the number of people you have on your team, you don't have a hiring problem. You have a retention problem. Today, I have a very special episode for you. You see, typically I'm interviewing guests and subject matter experts that are helping you drive your business forward and make the adjustments that you need so you get the business you've always wanted, whether it's to help with marketing or finance or even people, which is really our focus here. But today's episode is different. You see, today, it's just me. So you're going to get a full episode of Ryan England and my story. In fact, this comes with a major announcement. Some of you may already know, some of you may not. But in just a couple of weeks, my first book is going to be published and available for you to purchase not only through Amazon, but also through Audible. We have the audiobook coming as well. And I'm so excited to announce this book and to share it with you. It has been years in the making. In fact, I would say almost a lifetime. You see, I grew up in a blue-collar family. My dad was an owner-operator, and I remember being a kid and going with him to the plant to help him work, to help him on the weekends, after school, even after vacation sometimes. And originally, I thought I was just hanging out with my dad, but what it turned out was I was there to help. You see, and as I grew up, I realized that one of my dad's biggest challenges was he never knew how to grow a successful team. He never knew how to recruit, attract, and hire the right people. And because of that, I now do what I do over here at Core Matters. I now focus on helping entrepreneurs grow the team that they need to have the business of their dreams. You see, it was something that I've always wanted to do, even when I was younger, is have my own business. Start my own business and support the people that really make things happen in this world. And it's one of the reasons that I'm so passionate about blue collar and the industry. And even though our process works, we really designed it for you. For those of you that are in the trades with lots of service people that are making it happen, that you can't deliver your product or service without your team. That's who this book was for. The title of the book, Hire Better People Faster. It's about the proven process that we've been developing almost the last decade to help you attract, hire, and retain the right people. And it's done for the entrepreneur, teaching you the tools and the tricks and the processes that you need to successfully hire people. It's no secret that hiring is hard. It's no secret that times have changed, that the mindset has changed, that employees think differently now about work. And it's not because anything has really been that different. What it is, they've found that they have options. You see, 4 years ago, I would have said something different, but I will tell you right now, what I found is that most people, they've realized that work doesn't need to be the most important thing. And unless we as employers help them understand that work can be an important part of their life, we're going to struggle with this. So I wrote this book. In fact, Jeremy and I have been working on this book for a couple of years now, and it's finally here. And inside of that book, we are not only going to teach you the processes that you need to be able to attract great people, but we're going to help you get really clear on who you are, why people should come work to you. And I know that this part right now might sound a little, soft and fuzzy, but the reality is when we got people, I've heard it say before, that's the squishy side of business. You see, when you have people on your team, you have to understand that you get the whole person. You're not just getting an employee or getting another cog in your machine, as I've heard it said, or a number. You get the whole person. You get their hopes, their goals, their dreams, their drama, the difficulty in their personal relationships, their money problems, their health problems. You sign up and you get the whole package. There's no way to just pick and choose and say, oh, I like this part, but I don't like that part. And that's why I think people struggle so much. And so when you get really clear on how to build that relationship and why someone should make work an important part of their life, this becomes a lot easier. We review things like how to find the right people. It's a question I'm asked all the time. Where do I find them? How do I find these people? And I say the same thing over and over again. It's not about finding them. It's about attracting them. Now, sure, you got to go look for the right places. You have to find the place where these people are hanging out, where they're spending their time. But once you're there, you have to become attractive to them. In fact, if you're not attracting good people, it's most likely because your business, your company, your team, it's not attractive to good people. If you're only getting people that you don't think are the right fit, that don't work out well, then that's who you're attractive to. So it's time to take a look in the mirror and say, now that I know where the people are spending their time, where they hang out outside of work, I need to become the company that they want to join. If you're not willing to do that, that's okay. You're just going to continue to get what you've always gotten. And then once you know where these people are and you know how to attract them, if you're like most businesses, time is something that you don't have a lot of extra. You don't have a lot of free time. In fact, there's probably more work than there is time, especially if you need to hire. You're short-staffed. So what do? Yeah, automate this process. And this automation that we teach in this book is so important to helping you grow and scale your business. If you automate the predictable, automate the things that are important, they will get done. And when they get done, you can focus on what I like to call people things. Automate with a computer the things that people do so that people can go do people things. It'll transform your business. In fact, we've had some people that have shared with us that they've saved, just one person saved 20 hours a week by implementing automation in the recruiting process. Imagine what that would do for you. And you were still getting the right people. If you've ever struggled with having a conversation with people or getting to know them or making sure that they're qualified to do the job, then you know how important interviewing is. And it's one of my favorite chapters. When we deep dive into the interview and we go through the intricacies of the interview and the conversation and how to get people to show up authentically. Because I'm sure this has never happened to you, but we hear people say, I hired this person and they're not who I thought they were. The person I hired is not the person I interviewed. You ever felt that way? Yeah, we hear that a lot. And I'll tell you, when you're interviewing correctly, you're interviewing for authenticity to make sure that you have the right people. It's a game changer. You're going to start being confident in the people that you hire. You're going to be confident in your ability to onboard them. You're going to be confident that they are the right people for your team. And we share a couple of ways to do that, but the most important is to interview for the things that you can't or won't teach. You see, too often you interview for the things that you can teach them to do. You make sure they can turn a wrench or that they can operate the computer or run that software or operate that machine. We can teach all that stuff. But what you're not interviewing for are the things that you can't teach. How do they behave? How do they think? How do they process information? How do they communicate? That's what you should be interviewing for. And then now that you've got them and you got the right person, it's all about onboarding and engagement. And I could do a whole podcast episode on every single one of these chapters. Talk about the importance of building a system and a process. Just remember that onboarding starts when they first apply. Think about any relationship you've ever been in. That first date where you met, that matters throughout the entire relationship. Same thing happens with candidates. And if you're in an industry that's very tight-knit and you're constantly rehiring people, the way they felt the last time they were there is the way that the relationship's going to start now. So if it didn't end well, it's not going to start well. Keep that in mind. And now that you've got them, how do you keep them? Most people will come to me and they say, I have a hiring problem. I can't find anyone good. I can't find any good people. I've got a hiring problem. I said, great. Answer me this question. How many people did you have at the end of last year? Now, how many W-2s did you issue for that same year? And if the number of W-2s is significantly higher than the number of people you have on your team, you don't have a hiring problem. You have a retention problem, which might be caused by bad hiring or poor hiring decisions, but you have a retention problem. And if you don't solve the retention problem by either making better hiring decisions or engaging and equipping your team, all the great hires in the world aren't going to matter because you bring great people in and they end up not staying. So you've got to understand, why is it that people stay at a job? And you've heard it before, people don't leave jobs. People leave people. They leave bosses and managers and toxic leaders. That's what they leave. So when someone is leaving you, unless life happens, I get it, life happens sometimes, but the majority of times when someone leaves you, it's because there wasn't a fit. You weren't the right boss for them. It wasn't the right company. It's not that they're bad people. They're just not right for you. It's not that you're a bad company. You're just not right for them. Everybody's got a match out there. You just have to make sure you're very clear on who you are, so you make sure you're attracting the right people. And then finally, assessing. You've heard it before, what gets measured gets managed. And well, you might be really used to measuring your people's performance or measuring your team's performance or measuring productivity or profitability or revenue. Have you ever thought about measuring your process to make sure that your processes are doing what you expect them to do? See, processes they're only as good as you build them. See, people make mistakes, but processes, if someone follows the process and it's a perfect process, nothing's going to break. It's going to work perfectly every time. The problem is you take imperfect human beings, have them build a potentially perfect process, and then have imperfect people run it. So making sure that your processes are dialed in, that your systems are dialed in, and that you know how to measure the performance of your process is critical. Now, what I've just done here is I've just walked you through the entire corporate hiring system, our entire model packaged up in the book. I give you a quick overview of what you're going to learn and how this book is going to help you grow your business, find the right people. Now, I want to take a minute to share with you my experience going through this process, because I will tell you, it took much longer than I thought it would. You see, I didn't think writing a book would take years, but now I know why so many people have writing a book on their bucket list and they never do it. You're not just eating one elephant, you're eating a herd of elephants. And even one bite at a time, 2 years later, you get tired of eating elephants. But one of the things for me is I had support. I had support from my family. I had support from mentors. I had support from Jeremy. And we were able to get this book done. And sometimes it felt just like trudging through the mud. But we got it done. And it's a great book. And the feedback we've gotten from people has been amazing, which makes the writing process so much easier. But I will tell you, one of the biggest challenges about the writing process is actually finishing it in a way that makes it so that people understand. You see, I'm really good at talking to people. I love talking to people, having conversations and dialogue. But when writing a book, I had to be able to get those ideas out the first time with no feedback. And that was one of the most challenging parts of it for me, which is why I'm glad I had a team to help me do it. If it wasn't for that team, I don't know that I would have been able to ever get those ideas articulated in such a way that it would be easy. But I'll tell you what, now that we're here, now that the book is ready to launch, it was all worth it. Not only has it helped me get better at articulating the ideas and communicating them and coaching, I became a better coach because of this, and how I formulated the ideas and how we help these processes become real inside of every single organization that we work with. The writing process, it was definitely challenging, but so worth it. And as I conclude this episode, I just want to thank everyone that has been there to support me. I want to thank my wife Even my kids have helped me with this process, supported me with it. My daughter helping me draw pictures to help me better understand and how I would explain an idea. I want to thank Jeremy for his support on the book, and for all of our partners out there, everyone that's collaborated with us and my mentors. Thank you so much for guiding me on this journey so that I could bring this book to the people that needed it so much, so I could bring it to you. Information in this book, when applied, will transform your business in ways that you cannot imagine. It will give you your life back, and it will help you have that business that you've always dreamed about so that you can focus on the things that matter most to you. Thank you again. I'm Ryan England, CEO and founder of Core Matters and the author of Hire Better People Faster.